Okay, I promised an update after I did some modifications to the overland trailer, the homemade overland trailer. So, without further ado, here we go. Okay, number one, if you remember from my last video on the first one when we did the trip to Utah, I came back and I was saying that the frame was literally disintegrating, had problems with the axles, problems with the wheels. We learned a lot, and hence the name Live and Learn Overland. So I talked about building a new subframe. Well, excuse the shakiness. I did. If you can see, you can tell that there is the original frame from the Tractor Supply trailer sitting on top of a new subframe, which is 2x2 by 1/4 inch thick steel. Really heavy duty stuff. The other thing I did was I bought a 3,500 pound axle. I don't know if I can get this in the shot very well, but with electric brakes. That made a huge difference, but we're still on a journey with that one. There's still some changes to be made. The other thing I talked about, excuse me, the other thing I talked about was how invaluable these boxes were. So, just as I said, I'd buy another one, either slide it up or down, and that's what I did, is drop the one that used to be on the top and put another one on top. And I'll tell you, a really good move doing that. As you can see, we walk around. I've got two on the passenger side. This was the original little one I put on here. You can see in my previous videos. So I added the big one. I didn't have to move any here, just add the big one on the bottom, another 4-footer. Trying to get this angle right. And come around here, and you can see I added another one. And again, these things have just been invaluable. Tons of storage. There's my big 2-burner 33,000 BTU stove, and I've got these little gas canisters for the little quick stove. We're just making coffee or something real quick. We don't want to set up the whole rig. This one is my main cooking utensils. Got the electrical set up in there with all the breakers, cigarette lighter chargers, USB chargers. Come around out back. This one, pots and pans. You got the shower hose. Of course, you remember the pump that are bugged open there. A lot of utility stuff. Hose, fresh water, extra regulator, my large battery charger, my larger inverter, 750 watt. This lower one has my little 2,000 watt generator. Comes in handy sometimes. A bunch of utility stuff. I've got extra wire connectors, wire, electrical tape, some tools. As you can see, I added these 2 jerry cans, which don't buy the cheapest one you can. You can see what happens. You fill them up, when it gets cold, they implode or explode, depending on the temperature. I've got another one on this side here. These are the fill spouts for them. We just got back from Blue Ridge, Georgia, North Georgia, in the mountains. We were going to be there till today, or traveling back today, but they had a freeze the night before last, and it was super windy, and we pretty much saw everything we wanted to see, so we decided to head home. The other thing I added was these doors, and if you can see, I use magnets to hold the doors closed. These are our mats. We saw these on a couple other overland type videos. People have those plastic mats you can buy on Amazon. Kind of cool. You just unroll them. They're made of like a PVC or something, and so you can pressure wash them and water. They've got holes in them so the water goes right through. Works out pretty good. This side I got my annex and some other stuff. We got a heater that came in handy this past weekend. Here, some extra large spikes. Got my winch, some extension cords, a bunch of tools, LED lights, fire starting equipment. I also added some spare tire brackets so we wouldn't have the tires floating in the bottom anymore. Those came in real handy, although my son told me, he goes, I think they're a little bit low, and I says, I don't think so. I don't do any serious off-roading like you. And but sure enough, in northern Maine this past summer, we went through this ditch to get up on a mountain, and one of them caught. You can kind of tell it's a little off plumb. It bent up. I was able to almost bend it back up by hand. They're not the most expensive brackets, but I plan on raising those up. And I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I added this panel. Didn't really want a door because of the propane tank, so what I did, again, using these neodymium magnets with pre-drill holes, is I added, took a piece of aluminum diamond plate, put the 6 magnets on there. You can see where they end up hitting, and that's okay. Just got some, just sprayed it with some camo paint. And that pretty much sums up the changes I've made. Look a little bit different, and definitely a lot more rugged. Definitely tows a lot better. By the way, that Cascadia vehicle tent was extremely warm with the heater. We had the annex set up, and had the heater in the bottom with the heat rising through the tent. It worked out pretty good. Oh, that's the other thing I did. You look here, this gate used to come up, so I cut it down. So I still have my step. You can see my folding tables, my blocks to put under the jacks for leveling, and that PVC pipe right there is to hold up the center of a tarp that I put off the trailer when we're cooking. So anyway, that's about does it from Live and Learn Overland. Over and out.